Hey everyone, welcome. Music Scene Investigation is on the air. Rich Wildman here. Glad you're with us. On today's broadcast, we got something for everyone, I think. If you're into listening to music, I certainly hope so. That's the way we try and do things around here anyway. On today's broadcast, as always, we'll have 3 news songs that we'll put in front of our panel. And we'll get their review and critique of those songs as we go along. I certainly hope you're ready for that because I know I am. Before we do that, however, we got some interesting things we're going to be trying out on today's broadcast, and I certainly hope you'll bear with us on this. It's new technology, stuff you've not probably seen done before on a live broadcast. As they say on that old TV show, we have control of the vertical, we control the horizontal and all that bullcrap. Well, it's kind of true. On today's broadcast, occasionally you're going to see a button, and that button is going to appear down in the lower, right there, the lower left-hand corner of your screen. And under normal circumstances, you're going to be able to click on that button. You won't be able to click on this white one because it doesn't go anywhere. But when you see that button appear during the show, like for the witness page or something like that, you'll be able to click on that button and it will actually open up that page for you. It's kind of an interesting thing we're trying out. Certainly hope you will take advantage of it and enjoy it. I hope it works too. Got my fingers crossed. Going to thank Walt from the Indie Music Bus for helping us make this possible, because without him, we'd be floundering. No, it would not be possible without him. It's as plain and simple as that. All right, I want to introduce our panelist on today's broadcast. I'm going to go to New York City first, and we're going to talk to Mr. Tom Chianti. Tom, what did you do with the weather, man? It got cold here all of a sudden.
Yeah, I know. This morning it was really nice and toasty, and just before the show I had to run out to the store. And usually it takes me a half hour, 35 minutes to make this walk. It was so cold, I wound up double time, and it did it in 18 minutes, broke my own record, and I'm waiting for the prizes.
Well, I'm hoping that you can actually fix this whole issue with the weather for us, if you don't mind.
Well, I'll make a few phone calls.
Well, I'd appreciate that. So how has everything else been going over the last week? Everything been going all right for you?
Well, we had a little disappointment. I was going to take this box apart and put it in, whatever that was.
That was me. I apologize.
Interrupt me. Why don't you?
That's what I do.
was going to double stack a rack here so I could put more gear up. As you know, the Cube is the home of unending gear. And turns out I can't take this top piece off. So we're going to have to really get into carpentry, which I hate.
Well,
but other than that,
it happens. It happens. You'll get it figured out, and everything will be fine. And I do want to let you know that noise you heard, Tommy, just to let you know, that was because we had a Skype crash on us, and I had to get our guest back on. So,
we need our guest.
Yeah, we do. I've got him back on with us, so we're all good there. Hopefully, cross your fingers, knock on wood, all that good stuff. All right, over to London, England, we go to talk to our good friend Ian Husbands. Ian, looks like you got a new T-shirt, my friend.
Yeah, do you like this one?
Doesn't he always?
Can you read that?
I only like their first album. I actually kind of like, because there are a lot of bands I know of where I only like their first album.
That's where the idea comes from, and I think it's the case with a lot of bands that I know. I only like their first album.
I understand.
So thanks to the guys over at Balcony Shirts, obviously where Lee Hegarty, who's one of our guests, works, and they do some great T-shirts and always look after me on them as well. So get yourself over to balconyshirts.co.uk and check them out.
Absolutely. I'm looking for that first shipment of shirts from them. Haven't seen it yet. So,
have you bought some?
No, that's the problem, I think, is I haven't sent them to check either.
No, you see, I think they might like the money up front, Rich.
Yeah, especially from me. They want it up front first.
Especially with your reputation as it is, exactly.
Yeah, I'm the bad boy of the industry. I know this. Nothing I can do about it. Ian, what is the statistical reflection from last week's show where we had...
I like those words.
I appreciate that, Tommy. Where we had 13 and John Sullivan along with Smiley Mikey where 13 in his track, which was oddly reminiscent of Eminem, but very good. His song Remember Me got selected as Song of the Week. What did everybody in the audience have to say?
Well, it was a kind of a mixed bag this week. I mean, overall, they agreed with us. But from a songwriting point of view, it was 40% of the votes went to song 1, 40% of the votes went to song 2, and the remaining 20% went to song 3. So there was a bit of differentiation in the songwriting side of things, but song 1 got it with 60% on performance and 60% on mix and production. So, yeah, generally they agreed, but there was some fluctuations.
All right. Well, that makes sense. And it was a tough week last week. It was a tough decision for everybody, I think. So that's good.
It was. And I think the fact that number 2 was an original sort of melody line. I mean, it was reminiscent to other tracks, if I remember rightly, but, you know, it didn't hold on to that sort of artistic styling of Eminem so solidly like number 1 did.
Yeah, that was uncanny.
The fluctuations come in there with the songwriting, yeah.
Yeah,
I used my guilty pleasure card.
Yeah, well, we remember that. You did. That's okay, Tommy. We forgive you. We let it go, and you only get one of those a year. Remember that, right?
It was how
I was
he played
using mine from last year.
Me.
Oh, okay. What's that, Ian?
It was how he played it, which disturbed me.
All right, Tom is out of guilty pleasure cards, so we'll find out what he does this week. And, of course, we want to welcome our guest panelist today. You may know him, you may not. You may think you heard his voice before, and you might have. It's Mr. Steve Gardner from Compose.com. Steve,
Woo.
How are you, sir? Nice to have you on the broadcast with us.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm very happy to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you. Now, you are from Compose.com, but that is not where everybody may know you from on MSI. You want to explain that to them, or do you want me to explain it?
Why don't you explain it?
All right.
And I'll talk about it.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. Steve has actually got a band and has had the band submit music to Music Scene Investigation in the past. He's appeared on the show 2 different times. And, Steve, I know that is where you were first introduced to the broadcast. And since then, we've come to know you and Compose very well. And we appreciate you being on today's show. So tell me, first of all, a little bit about Compose and what it is you do at Compose. And then I want to talk about your song that you had on. But I want to hear about Compose and you first.
Absolutely. Compose.com is an online platform where musicians from around the world come together and create original music. It's not recording in the cloud. What it is, you work on your time, in your space, with your gear, and upload tracks to Compose.com to join in and create brand new original music. I've been around about just a little over 7 years, and we recently, in January, just relaunched. So we have a brand new platform, taking in a bunch of new members of late. And we're in 125 countries now with about 50,000 members. So
now,
things are looking good.
Now, Compose, as you said, is primarily a collaboration site where musicians can get together and collaborate. How is it unique from other sites that do similar things? I know there are a slew of other music sites out there that predominantly allow artists to post their music. I know that collaboration is one of the things that is one of the mainstays of what Compose is. How is it different in that regard than some of these other sites?
Well, how we're different is that we are all about creating original music versus other sites that may be strictly a contest platform, or they want you to collaborate in the cloud using their tools. In this way, with Compose, you get to work, like I said, with your own time, your own space. There's no schedule. And 3 o'clock in the morning, I want to put down a lead guitar track on a song. That's fine. So it kind of brings people together along with our social aspect, if you will, because we have a true loyal community where people have become, believe it or not, lifelong friends because of their interactions on Compose. So we don't require people to use our special recording widget, or, gee, you have to submit to this opportunity or that opportunity. This is all about music creation, bringing people together from different parts of the world, different genres, and different instruments, all combined to create something magical at the end.
All right. Now, I guess I should ask you this first. What is it actually that you do for Compose? Because I know that we know you differently than maybe what a lot of people in our audience does. We know you as both a musician and as one of the guys behind Compose. So what is it that you do for Compose?
Well, I'm responsible for marketing, contests that we may do, business development, just overall spreading the word of what Compose is all about. I have two partners at Compose, Raphael and Gerald Catanacci, and there's the three of us, and we have a crack team of programmers that work with us to tweak and develop and bring new features to Compose.com. But I primarily do a lot of the promotional aspects, so things that you might see on Facebook, things that you might see on Twitter, and any of the marketing campaigns that we're doing. Right now, we just launched a campaign with a company called New Bay Media, which publishes Guitar World, Guitar Player, Bass Player Magazine, Keyboard Magazine, Electronic Musician, and probably another 20 other titles. So you'll start to see a huge marketing push for Compose.com, especially with those assets there. So we're very excited about our future. This is our first real marketing campaign.
And we're glad to see you guys having that success and expanding into those areas because, independent artists, no matter where they're at, are always looking for people to work with. And I think that what you guys are doing at Compose is very valuable to them. So congratulations on that.
Along those same lines, when you have, for example, an independent artist who may have some great ideas, they sing really well, they write great lyrics, maybe they just play acoustic guitar. But the songs could really stand to have a band. And gee, I don't know about you, but I can't afford to go into a professional studio and hire session musicians. So what Compose can do, and this actually happens, you bring your voice and your guitar and your lyrics, and lo and behold, you'll have real guitar, real keyboards, real drums, real bass, and then a guy behind the scenes. Many of our members, all they do is engineering, so they'll mix your song. And we've seen this time and time again where someone will come in with just a basic idea, and within a few short days, boom, it's a well-produced, full band song.
Now let's talk about, speaking of fully produced and how musicians work at Compose, let's talk about some of the songs that you've submitted to MSI. Now I know that you as a musician, from that perspective, had at one point worked, and did everything yourself. We talked a little bit before the show today where you said, I ain't doing that no more. And I guess sites like Compose can make that true. You don't have to do everything yourself. Now, how did that come into play in the music that you've submitted to MSI in the past?
Well, you're exactly right, Rich. I mean, I do play guitar, I play bass, I play keyboard. I was playing by myself, if you will, which can be a lot of fun, but it gets very frustrating because while I play all those instruments, I don't play them very well. So I basically just Googled online music collaboration and on a bunch of different sites. This is back in 2009, and Compose was the one that really stood out head and shoulders above anyone else. Strictly on a talent level, I was blown away by how great some of these players are. So I submitted some of my songs to Compose, my song ideas, and within a few short days, I told myself, I'm not playing guitar ever again. These guys are just too good for me. And the first song that I actually submitted to MSI was a song called All My Yesterdays.
Right.
And that was written by a fellow in Germany. His name is Ilja Gresik, and he did all the instrumental aspects. And it was basically an idea. There wasn't really a lot of song structure, so we worked on, just cutting up the song and structuring it, verse and chorus and B sections, and where's the guitar solo going to be. And so we worked on that and did all the vocals and the production work. And then the one key ingredient that was missing, I guess, was the lead guitar solo. One of our other members, his name is Morgan Peterson, and he actually lives in Sweden. I asked him if he would mind, if he liked the song, would he play a lead on it? And the very next day, there was a lead guitar track. So I submitted that to MSI, and lo and behold, it was on the show. I was very excited to hear it. And what I really enjoyed was the fact that none of the panel had ever heard the song. They didn't know who I was. They didn't know if it was a band or an individual. They had no idea. And the feedback I got was instrumental on how I move forward with songwriting in general, and what production tips maybe I shouldn't be using, or what needs refining. It was clearly unbiased, and there was very positive feedback and critical feedback at the same time. And I think that's a real help to songwriters in general when they're, if they think their song is ready to be released to the masses, if you will, to submit it to NSI, to get the feedback that might, in some cases, allow that artist to go back and tweak based on your feedback, and then perhaps even resubmit that song. And I know, Rich, that you had talked about that happens on occasion with you folks.
Yeah, we have had a couple of songs, in the past which have come through the lab twice, and I think the second time around has been a better song. So, and we appreciate that there are artists, and we love hearing from artists who have gone through the process, and we love to hear their thoughts on it, and we like to see those songs resubmitted so that we can put them back through again to get the panel's opinion on them a second time around. So I think that's a great thing that you said. Now, what is Compose got in front of it? I know that you guys have, as you said, just gone through a redesign. You guys do a number of contests where you get artists to work with well-known artists and help them, or not necessarily help them, but take and remix or add to and redo some songs that they allow to be manipulated in such a way. So what do you got in the plans for Compose? What's going on over there?
Well, let me talk a little bit about what we do when it comes to collaboration contests. And the one word that I want to kind of take out of that is remix, because that's not what we're about. We're not a bunch of DJs sitting around remixing Rihanna tracks. What our contests are is about an established artist who will actually give us the tracks that he has recorded for a particular, or he or she, for a particular song. Where our artists now go in and add their real instruments to create a brand new song out of that existing song. And we did a contest about a year and a half ago with a gentleman by the name of Brian Culbertson, who's had 27 #1 hits on Billboard under the smooth jazz genre. And he's a phenomenal player, and he gets the greatest guys to play on his records. So he gave us, from one of his songs, it was called It's Time, he gave us every step. So we had about 21 different tracks to work with, where our artists were tasked with taking at least 2 of the tracks, combined with their own instruments and their ideas, to create a brand new song. We had hundreds and hundreds of entries from jazz to rock and roll, to some hip hop and dance songs, and the winning song was called Tiempo. And what it was is it was a song in Spanish. It was amazing. Brian really enjoyed it, and he selected it out of the hundreds of entries that we had. And the contributors to that, they got a bunch of prizes from our sponsors, from Roland Corporation and Luna Guitars and Personas Software, and so on and so on. Brian was very happy, and we are gearing up to start our contest yet once again, and we hope to have very consistent programming of collaboration contests with existing artists that you already know, and they'll range from jazz to rock to country. So we're trying to get as many artists as we can to provide value to Compose, to our artist itself, but also to help spread the word for Compose. And maybe an artist has a new record coming up. They want some help in promoting that, and we can, of course, help with that.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Well, we're looking forward to seeing what happens at Compose as time goes by. I know that I've seen the site both before and after the rebuild, and I got to say, the new Compose 2.0 looks fabulous. I certainly hope that everyone over there using the service enjoys it because it looks great. I can't tell you how clean the interface looks for everything.
Well, I've got a quick question here.
Sure,
yes,
Ian.
sir.
Go right ahead.
From the chat room, Box of Crap is asking, how does it work with sort of the rights to the songs? Is it a case of people are signing things, making agreements online, or is it just no one really cares and you just get on with it?
Well, that's a great question. And how we address that is that we have many different licensing options, from basically starting around Creative Commons licensing all the way through traditional copyright. We also have a public platform where everybody sees what's going on with a particular project. And then we also have private collaborations where folks are either they're an existing band and they're working on new songs, or they're doing a cover song, because we don't allow cover songs into the public platform. Or folks just like to generally work in private. Maybe they're working on a new record and they're using the artists on Compose to help them with that record, and so they want to keep it under wraps, if you will, until it's ready to be released. And so how we address the licensing issues is that whoever creates the project decides what license they want to use, from a Creative Commons licensing that says, I'm going to share this with the world and I don't care what anybody does with it, through a true copyright, traditional copyright. But with all that said, the artists still retain the rights to their music. We have nothing to do with that. We don't secure any rights. We don't get involved with that. It's your song. So when you upload your song, it's still yours.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And I say we open up a can of worms here today. And
okay, for the can of worms. Is that a friend of Box of Craps?
It's a friend of I don't know, Tommy, but I do want to let everybody know, first of all, if you want to find out more about Compose and what's going on over there, go to compose.com, KOMPOZ.com. That's where you can take a look at the details. You can sign up and experience it firsthand for yourself. We certainly encourage you to do that as well. Now, as I said, guys, I want to open up a can of worms. We got some music to listen to. It's new music that we haven't had on at any time, and I know you guys have never heard before. I'm psychic like that. I'm just making that part up. But I would like for you guys to take a listen to some of this new music today. So let's get to it. Let's start out with song number 1 on today's Music Scene Investigation. So here, everyone, is song number 1 on today's MSI. Enjoy it.
twice, this is mine. Come on, Scoot. Well, you know you can do faster than that, man. Now come on, man, faster.
And there you have it. That is song number 1 on today's Music Scene Investigation. All right, we're going to start things out in the review process with Ian, so let's go to him first and find out what he thought. Ian, off to you, sir.
Okay. This is obviously a live jam live in the studio, I'd guess, something along that sort of line. And these guys are obviously, they're in a band, they got some ideas going on, but, you know, there's a lot of good stuff going on here, and then there's some bits and pieces missing. Like, one of the things missing was the vocalist. He seemed to sort of come in when he kind of felt like it, and then didn't come in and just let that riff drive through the track, and then he'd come in shouting again, and then he'd drift out again. You know, I'd like to hear more of him. He's obviously got a voice that's going to work on this sort of track. He's got that sort of, there's a band called Jet, I can't remember the name of the big song, but it sounds like Jet to me, basically. And it's that sort of new wave, punky, live, raw sort of sound, which is great. You know, they're capturing it quite well, but this could benefit from some production. Basically, stereo those guitars up. Pound one left, pound one right. Don't make them as toppy and as brittle as they are. You know, the bass sounds absolutely awesome. The guy's grooving. I like the bass tone as well, but it's predominant in that track. It really is driving, but probably too hard. The drums, they sound live. They need a bit of attention, some compression. You know, sort out your reverbs as well. It's all just sounding too live. Even for a track like this, which wants to sound live, this is just, you know, with that guitar being mono and that bass being mono and everything sort of sat in the centre, and the vocalist not doing much. It just needs some attention. Love the groove, love the riff, love the drive, love the sort of style that they're doing. It just needs arrangement and production work.
All right. I appreciate it, Ian. Thank you. Over to Mr. Tom Chianti for his thoughts as well. Tommy, what do you think?
Yes.
What do you think?
Well, I agree a lot with what Ian says, but, you know, it really reminded me of, like, in between bands at Woodstock, where everybody's just doing a sound check, and it's that type of live rock feel, which I really liked. I liked the idea. The intro is abrupt, probably because they'd been jamming for a while and somebody just decided to hit record. It is very mono. I like the lead vocalist's voice. He should really, you know, it needs structure. It needs form. I mean, there's a lot of good ideas, and like Ian said, there's some that, you know, could be changed. It needs order. You can still give it that live jam feel, but give it a little bit of a production order, because right now it's too random. I really like when they went into that funky and then they broke and the guy said, never mind. You know, that's cool. And they should build on the coolness and the vibe that's in the track and really try to recapture it in a structured form. Because, like you said, the bass is good, the guitars are good, everything is good. It just needs form, and it needs to be stereoed out, and a little bit more finesse on the mix. You know, for what it is, it's great. Do a little organization, and you know, you could probably keep a lot of what's there. Depending, you know, they might have had all the drums bust to like just a stereo track and not really much panning going on. But with just a little bit more attempt at structure, they'll have a very cool thing here. Write some lyrics, definitely, and really, you know, bring out the drive and the groove. It's got a great raw feel and sound to it. I really like it. It just needs structure.
All righty, Tommy. Thank you. And over to Mr. Steve Gardner from Compose.com. Steve, what do you think of that track? And I lost his audio.
It's there
Or no, I
somewhere.
lost his video. What happened?
Richie killed the gas
Are
host.
you
Richie
there,
killed
Steve?
The gas host.
Maybe I did lose Steve. I'm not sure what's going on. We're going to wait and see if we get Steve back here in just a second. That is odd. It says it's reconnecting to him, so it is trying to get him back. And while we do that, I want to take the opportunity to thank Walter at the Indie Music Bus for helping us out and for helping indie artists all across the planet out. Walt is a great guy. You can go to him at indiemusicbus.com to learn more about what it is that Walter does. And we've got Steve back on the line with us. Steve, are you there?
I am indeed. It's funny, I had gotten knocked out earlier, and no reflection on Tom, of course, but both times it was right after you had Tom on.
No,
Well, of course.
I blame it on Tom.
There you go. I agree with what both Ian and Tommy said about the song. The bass line was just so groovy. I loved it. And I really wish the singer had a bigger part in the song. I thought this was more of a nightclub scene. I'm in a club, and this is the opening number for this group, and it was perfect as an opening number. It seemed like they have a lot of fun playing it, but again, I want to hear more vocals when I hear a song like this, and some more structure, as you guys had alluded to. I really like the change. And how they went back into the original groove was very interesting to me. I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, all in all, a couple of thumbs up from my perspective. But again, I want to hear more singing because I think this guy's got a pretty cool voice.
All right, I understand that. Now, can I see if I can get you to send me some video back, Steve? Because one of the things is your video. There you are. Now I got you back on the screen. That's a good thing. And hopefully we won't have a dropout like that again. At least I hope not. We'll just have to play it by ear and take it as it comes. But that was song number one. Let me take and introduce that song to everybody. The name of song number one is called Whose Generation, and that's by a group called Chasing Creation. And we appreciate their, of course, sending that in to MusicSceneInvestigation.com. If you're an indie artist out there who wants your music in front of the panel, want to hear what they have to say, you can do that very simply by going to MusicSceneInvestigation.com and clicking on the Submit button at the top of the page. No funny business there, guys. I know what I did. And we will gladly get it in front of the panel as soon as possible. Of course, every week we select 3 songs randomly. We never know what's going to come up in front of the panel until they hear it during the show. All right, gentlemen, I have 2 more songs ready for you guys to listen to. So if you're ready for it, I know everybody out in the audience is. Let's give a listen to song number 2 on today's Music Scene Investigation. Here it is, everybody. This is track number 2 on today's MSI. Enjoy.
been the long way, long as I have you near. Finding a way to get you out of my head always ends up being no. You're always in my baby, you know that a day with you is never done. We're both just trying to fly on wings we never knew we could choose. When we fly, we'll go into the distance, and I'll never come back 'cause I'm with you. We both just got our wings, so let's just see how far we can go. We've already come so far, so let's just go on a little bit more. Going on this journey, there's comfort in your arms. Living our lives on this journey, and just carry on. It's so hard to tell if you're ready when you tell me it's okay. I just can't find a way to tell you that I'll go with you anyway. We're both just trying to fly on wings we never knew we could use. When we fly, we'll go into the distance, and I'll never come back 'cause I'm with you. We both just got our wings, so let's just see how far we can go. We've already come so far, so let's just go on a little bit more. We're both just trying to fly on wings we never knew we could use. When we fly, we'll go into the distance, and I'll never come back 'cause I'm with you. We both just got our wings, so let's just see how far we can go. We've already come so far, so let's just go on a little bit more. We're both just trying to fly on wings we never knew we could use. When we fly, we'll go into the distance, and I'll never come back 'cause I'm with you. We both just got our wings, so let's just see how far we can go. We've already come so far, so let's just go on a little bit more.
There you have track number 2 on today's music scene investigation. Let's go to Tom to start this round out, find out what he thinks. Tom, what are your thoughts on track number 2?
Overall, I think it's melodically and lyrically interesting. The intro should be shorter or a little bit more interesting. And it should be overall more organic. Get some live drums, layer some guitars, really, and tone down the synths, and that'll update the sound. Right now, it's a very 80s synth pop type of sound. And vocally, it seems at the top of the singer's range. He could either rehearse more and get it better, or bring somebody else in to sing it. You know, no disrespect, but you want to present the song in its best possible way. There's a lot of good ideas throughout, just overdone on the effects. The lower mids, upper lows are predominant. Turn back some of the reverbs. You know, first, do a remix, clean everything up, and let some. It may be a one-man production. I don't know, but it would greatly profit from more artists collaborating on it. Like I said, real bass player, real drummer, add a layer of guitars. I really like the chanting in the background. And lyrically, like I said, and melodically, it's very interesting. It's a good start. It's a great start. Tone down the reverb, get a better mix of it, bring it to some real musicians for more organic sounds, and change up some of the production a little bit. And it's a great start, but it does definitely need a lot of work, especially on the mix.
All right, Tommy. Thank you very much. Over to Mr. Steve Gardner from Compose.com. Steve, at least your Skype held out. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I really dig the synth pop as a child of the 80s, of course. I thought it had a great foundation, and I agree with what Tom was talking about with the mix and the effect. It was just way overboard, if you will, especially on the reverb part. And I'm guilty of that too when I mix my own stuff, so I don't mix my own stuff anymore. So leading into it, it could use a very good mix. And I think the song itself, the structure was okay. The singer, I like the singer's voice, but edginess is going to kill you every single time. So perhaps, really, as Tom was saying, really rehearse that song. You got to really sell it. And if you have to do it in parts as you're recording it, go right ahead, as opposed to perhaps singing the whole song as you're recording it. Do it one part at a time. Because I think if they were hitting the notes where he went flat, or she went flat a couple of times, that's what kind of lost me on that. Because I think it has a very good melody. I would like to hear more of a sing-along chorus, though. I think this song really demands that kind of hook to get the crowd going. And like Tom was saying about real instruments, the one real instrument I was missing was some guitar. I think this song really calls for some guitar in there, some parts, perhaps on the hook or as they're building the verses. But all in all, I like the song. It just needs some work. And hopefully, whomever song this is, they'll take some feedback and go around and tweak their different parts and perhaps come back to MSI and see what their phase 2 would be.
All right. I appreciate that, Steve. Thank you. Over to Ian. Ian, it's all yours, my friend. Say what you think.
I'll think what I say. Yeah, reverb, obviously, as the other two have said, is a big thing for me on this. Too big, too echoey, too much like I'm hearing it in a cathedral. And it is that 80s synth. There's reminiscence of T'Pau in there and Kate Bush from their sort of 80s sort of times, which is cool, but it's just some of the sounds that the MIDI sounds that were being used weren't as, they were still out of the box and they needed to be better. And the mix was all over the place. The bass wasn't really anything memorable from my point of view. I liked the songwriting. I think, the structure and the songwriting, the lyrics were good. Could have done with a stronger hook. I agree with Steve on that. But overall, it really is a big mix issue with this. And Tom, did you say that was a bloke singing? Because I thought it was a woman. Here we go again.
No, that's why I said it sounds like he's straining at the top of his register. I believe it's a guy.
Oh, I mean, from a performance point of view, I thought, they can obviously sing. I think they were pushing themselves a little bit. But I didn't feel that they were comfortable doing that or really conveying the message in an emotive way. It was more a concentrated, I've got to sing this correctly type of way. Does that make sense? Because you can hear that in a recording, especially if you're recording vocals a lot. You can hear if people are trying to hit the notes or if people are singing it in a way that they mean it. And it sounds different. And I think this focus needs to find their point where they're comfortable singing this song and really give it a bit more emotion in there.
All right, Ian, I appreciate that. We're going to have to do something about your Skype, though. It's gone downhill on me, audio-wise and video-wise. Just want to let you know that. Let me take and let everybody know who this song is by. This song is by a group called Jusus Bradshaw. Jusus Bradshaw with Trying to Fly on Music Scene Investigation. Appreciate your sending that in. I want to take the opportunity to take a listen to track number 3 now, gentlemen, on today's broadcast. So let's go ahead and give that a shot. This is track number 3 on today's Music Scene Investigation.
not worth your time, even if nothing in the end. Seems like nothing left to trade. Try to kill it anyway. And I know this is how it ends. Never hurt to care. Be so broken in my mind. To dance wanna live. And nothing that's to blame. Try to kill it anyway. I know how hoping it would end. It's broken, I don't, and I have found out. Come along, I do. If I found out, if it's broken, if I need it, long to know I have broken, I am broken, I am broken. Never had to care. No, not worth your time, even if nothing in the end. Seems like nothing left to trade. Try to kill it anyway. And I know this is how it ends. I just want to find I'm living something else to tell me I can't live a birthday. Even if I say goodbye, and I say goodbye, and I say goodbye, long to say that you don't know why, and I like to die, and I like to die. I don't want it, they don't need it. I've broken sideways. I don't need it. They don't want to come along. Broken madness. If I say tomorrow, say tomorrow.
And that is track number 3 on today's music scene investigation. We're going to start this round of reviews off with Mr. Steve Gardner. So, Steve, what do you think of track number 3? Let me.
Hi, Tom. I like the guitar, but I'm kind of lost on the singer with the melody and kind of the fading in and out of the volume. It was as if maybe she's playing the guitar and trying to sing at the same time. I don't know, but that was the impression that I got, and so there was a lack of focus, I guess, on the vocal. I'm just kind of confused on this. I'm not getting it. Is it just a rough idea? It's working through a song. I mean, when I first heard it, I thought this is an ideal opportunity for a singer-songwriter to come to compose.com and bring that idea and see what the talent host could do to help elevate that song and to really put it together. But the melody, it was, I wasn't getting it. It was almost a poet putting a poem to a song.
All right, well, that makes sense. And it sounded to me like she may have been singing it for the first time with the music. I don't know. Let's
Quite possible.
find out what Ian and Tom thinks. Ian, what do you think about track number 3?
To me, this sounds like the sort of track I will do when I've just sat down and I've had a writing session, and I've got the song together, and I've got a melody idea, I've got some lyrics, I've got a chord pattern, and I want to slam the idea down so that I don't move on to the next one in my head and forget this one. So I will sit around a microphone with a guitar and I will play it live and just track it as best as I possibly can. If there's mistakes in it, I don't care. It's not really for anyone's hearing except my own, to remind me of that idea when inspiration strikes. And this to me is what this sounds like, which is a good thing. It's a good thing that people will take the time to get these ideas down. But, as I said, I wouldn't put my demos, and when I'm talking demo, I mean really rough demos, out to people like us to listen to. There is a song here, but the way it's being delivered at the moment is not giving the song any sort of showcase in any sort of sense. So it's difficult to pick through the slight fumbles on the guitar, the slight fading in and outs of volume, that horrible fade out at the end where it just went and cut. And the singer sounds like she has got a lot more potential in her than she's actually given to this. It sounds like she's just busking it out, maybe jamming a little bit. But even so, she sounds like she's being a touch lazy with it. Her pitching's not as good as it could be. And, she's got a lot more room in her voice to go up in places where she's going down and to start giving that melody a bit more colour and a bit more fragrance. When you're doing an acoustic track like this, it's still important, if you're laying down an idea, to set out a roadmap for your future song. And part of that is dynamics. And even when you're playing just an acoustic guitar and vocal, you should be able to achieve a degree of dynamic where it drops down for a verse and lifts for a chorus through arrangement and, playing the guitar harder or playing the guitar softer. But this was all just constantly through at one level. It didn't really sort of build into anything. I mean, give it some attention, go back, get some drums down. Get some drums down that's going to keep that guitar tight, re-record them drums. Concentrate on looking to get a bass player in to hold some sort of groove into this. And then start building from there. I mean, this could go in many ways. It could be country, it could be rock. Who knows where it's going to go at the moment, but this is why you need to start building this up as a production, before you let anyone hear this, because there's a good start here, but it needs a lot of attention.
All right, Ian, I appreciate your thoughts as well. Now over to Tom. And Tom, just be fair, I'm going to show Steve's graphic before I show yours. So go ahead, Tom.
Oh, am I on?
Yeah, you're on now.
Okay. Yeah, like Ian said, this is a very raw, unrehearsed song idea. And the only thing that really bothered me is that this girl has potential in her vocal. And I can hear that she can sing. And I think what she should have done is before, even in its raw form, she should have rehearsed what she was going to sing to at least showcase her vocal capabilities. And this sounds like something I would have done back, let me show my age, in the 70s with a boombox recording me and my guitar. And like Ian said, just to throw it down so I don't forget it. But she should have rehearsed a little bit more before sending it in, just to present it in a more solidified form. Like I said, I like her voice. I know she can sing better than she is. The guitar playing, everything is all unrehearsed and rather sloppy. But like Ian said, it could go a lot of different directions. And it's a very basic song idea, and it should be fleshed out and played for other people to see if they can add things before sending it out. Because she's not really giving the song or her voice or her guitar playing a chance here. It's not really being presented as good as it could be. I agree with Steve. She was probably singing and playing at the same time and turning away from the mic just to check on levels or something. But
Lyrics.
she's got a good voice. She's got a great start. Work on it. And even if she doesn't add anything to it, rehearse it, finish the lyrics, strengthen the melody and the guitar playing, solidify it, and then let people hear it. And then they can go from there and start really building this to a full song, which it deserves.
All right, Tommy, I appreciate your thoughts. Thank you very much. Now, for everybody out in the room and for our panelists as well, the name of that song is Junkyard Blues, and that track is by the Junkyard Angel, and we appreciate her sending that track into Music Scene Investigation. A reminder for everybody out there who loves listening to Twitter Tuesday Live, for next week at least, it's not going to be on air. Worldwide Indie Radio are moving their studios, so they will be off air for a moment. Also, if you listen to Music Scene Investigation on Worldwide Indie Radio, we're probably not going to be there either. I don't think they're going to have the studio back up until the latter part of the week. Cross your fingers and hope it may happen, but I'm not sure what's going to happen. Call Mark on the phone. He'll let you know the details. That's the way it works. All right, gentlemen. For you guys, we have the unenviable case where you're going to have to make a decision on the song of the week. And of course, we want our audience as well to let us know what they think as they file their witness statements. And if you're watching this on video, you can do that at musicsceneinvestigation.com/witness. Gentlemen, what do you think for your selections on Song of the Week?
You know what? I'm going to jump straight in. We've
Go
heard
ahead.
three tracks tonight, which are, in their own ways, far from finished. I think, looking from a finished point of view, it's got to be between 1 and 2, and I struggle with 2 in many ways. So I'm going to jump in and say that number 1 is energy, it's groove. It needs some attention, yes, but there's a really good basis for something great there. So I'm going to go with number 1.
All right, Steve, Tom, what do you think?
Dave, you care to go? Guest first.
Actually, yeah, I'll go if my battery holds out long enough here. Sorry about that. I agree with Ian. I got to go with song number 1. It was the most finished of the 3 songs, and I really love the groove on it. While I still think that song number 2 and song number 3 have a lot of potential, I think they just need too much work at this point versus what song number 1 did. So I'm going with song number 1.
All right.
Well, I think everybody's of the same mind. One of the basic things that guide me when I listen to these songs is presentation and how well of an idea is formulated, whether it's fully formulated or not. Just how close. And on that, 2 needs a lot of work, and 3 is really just the beginning. And 1, seems like these guys really enjoyed doing it, had a lot of energy, it was spontaneous. So it's the least, it needs least of the most work, something like that. So I'll go with 1 also.
Least of the most work. All right, Tommy, there you have it. I appreciate your thoughts, gentlemen. Want to let everybody know it is unanimous. Song number 1 by Chasing Creation, called Whose Generation. It's going
It's a good
to be
title,
our
by the
song
way.
of the week. Yeah, Chasing Creation or Whose Generation?
Whose Generation? It really fits the song.
All right, well, there you go. And we appreciate their sending that in. We appreciate you guys on your jobs here today as well. Steve, want to thank you and thank Compose for letting you out of the basement to join us today, man. Great to have you on the broadcast with us.
It was my pleasure. I mean, this was a blast because I've been on the other side of the table, and my battery just died on my computer.
All right, well, you're still on, so we're gonna go ahead and let you close it out here for us real quick.
Well, I appreciate that, and I look forward to working with you guys more down the road. And this was a blast, and I look forward to being a guest again, and also working
And there his computer went. The battery did indeed die on him. But at least it left him with a decent picture there, so that's not too bad. And we may have some news in the near future with regards to Compose as well. We'll keep you updated on that. Tommy, Ian, we're going to take and play out right now with Whose Generation by Chasing Creation as our song of the week. So I want to thank everybody for joining us here today on Music Scene Investigation. We'll see you again next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Make sure you join us.
Bye.
Oh, baby, you know this is my generation. Oh, you know this is mine. Well, who told you could take my stuff, man? Well, I told you once and I'll tell you twice, this is mine. Ah, wait a minute. Come on, scoot. Well, you know you can do faster than that, man. Now come on, man, faster. Come on, baby. Oh, this is mine.
True to myself, so I don't be so slave to the